Hey, what's up, everybody? So I figured out why my stream wasn't, or my static video I made yesterday wasn't loading. I guess I had it in a different type of file type, and that's why YouTube wasn't processing it. So here's the MACD tutorial that I've been talking about. It's one of the most important indicators that you can use, whether you're trading stocks or cryptocurrency. But in my opinion, this may be just the most um, important indicator you can learn. So it's a trick I found, from our community members. Um, you can sit here and you can fill all these in. So what you would do is you would go to settings, you would click your MACD and then go to settings, and then you just basically go to area, which we'll do this here in just a second, and then you go to here, and we want area. There you go. So you fill in all these, you leave these, right here, and then you click this, it looks like a chart, and you'll go to area. All right, so we're good, right? So when you look at the MACD, I like to go between the daily and the 4-hour to identify my environment. And then once I've identified my environment, because I'm a scalp trader at heart, the next thing I do is I check the 1-hour. So, the MACD is one of the easier indicators to learn because once you got it, you're really golden. So here's how it works. This bottom side is your bearish momentum, and your top is your bullish momentum. So, and I use these lines to help it dictates, it's basically your confirmation. So, here's a good example, okay? Right here. What do you see? This is your top, this is your bull section. You see a high in bullish momentum, you have a low and another low. So, you have bearish divergence right here because you made a higher high, or a lower high, a lower high in bullish momentum, and you can see that we did ever so slightly make some negative momentum. But look at our lines we just talked about. It's our confirmation, right? You don't really see any kind of negative crosses here. So you can see we had another wave of positive momentum, and what do you see here? Triple MACD bearish divergence. This is one of the most bearish indicators you can see here. So how do you confirm that it's not just going to be something like this and you're going to have to go through another wave? Well, here's your confirmation. When we zoom in here, you'll see that you have a cross here to the downside. And you also had another cross right in here immediately after. So you had your wave, and you're like, oh, well, do I cover yet? We dipped. Well, look at the price action. So you can see this is where our wave was. And if we pull this out, you can see here. Let's get this fixed here. Oh. So you can see here, if you go to the top, look where we're at here. This is a Bart Simpson pattern here. So you would have had your high at about 10,004, and you went all the way down to about $10,000. And then you can see here, you're like, well, do I cover here? Nope, because you look at your lines here. Number one, you see how this right shoulder is bigger, it's deeper. Well, guess what else you see here? You get another bearish cross to the downside. So you just shorted at 10.4, and you made a nice profit all the way to 9,300. All right, let's find another one. Let's find a bullish divergence. All right, there you go, much better. So here's another one, okay? So you're looking at your MACD. What position am I going to start? You look at your 4-hour. You see how you have your big wave right here? And then do you see how you have your much smaller one right here? This is your bearish momentum. So on this dip, you made a smaller level of bearish momentum than you did over here. So you draw your trend line. All right, you've identified it. You have bullish divergence. You have bullish divergence right here. When's it going to play out? You have your confirmation. If we pull this out just a little shorter, what do you see here? What confirms that this is going to move? I'll give you just a second. it's this right here. You had your bullish cross here to the upside. And then you made your high. If you look at your price action, so this is your low. This is your bigger wave of bearish momentum. This is your smaller wave. And if you look at the middle where we rounded this off, where's our price at? 9,800. And on this wave over here, this is your bullish divergence that played out from down here. You made a high of, about 10,450, almost 5. You went back down. You had about a $500 dip. But you can see here, it barely even registered. If you look at your MACD, look at this. You're barely building anything. So guess what? What is your confirmation that it's not, you could take profit, but what is your confirmation here that honestly you could either take profit from this jump to here, take your profit, and then if you look here, guess what? You have another much smaller wave right in here. Do you see it? And if we delete these circles here, what do you see here again? Boom, you have another bullish cross. Use your lines to confirm your momentum, your MACD. So, so we went over the triple MACD bearish divergence. We went over bullish divergence. We'll find a few more examples for you. Honestly, guys, it sounds like it might be difficult, but I promise, the moment you learn it, it's like engraved in your brain, literally forever. It's super easy. Once you know what to look for, you're good. So, all right, here's a good one. All right, this right here, this is what we're eyeing, okay? So, you had your giant fall from 14,000 all the way to about 10,300, just slightly under, right here. And then you had another big wave. You're like, oh, with the selling, it's getting massive. What do I do? Well, look at here. You can draw your trend line right through here. And if you look, what is your confirmation here that's gonna confirm your move up? What do you see here, chat? Right here. Right in there. So you have your bullish divergence, you had your confirmation, and what do you know? If you follow this line all the way up, where are you at? Sorry guys, got the hiccups. Look at the move we had. Oop. Come over here. You see how you have your bullish divergence, you had your big wave, and then you had your second wave, which is this right here. And then look at this. Once you got your bullish divergence played out, you had your confirmation. Where's the middle of that line? You roughly, you would have entered somewhere around 9,900. And you made a run all the way up to about $12,000. That's about a $2,000 jump. And then guess what happened right next to it? Make sure we're still good. All right. So then you go over here and you're like, all right, well, what's our next play? What's our next play? Well, you can see here, you did have, on your wave of bullish momentum right here, you had a much smaller wave right here. So you have your much smaller wave right here. And then you see, if you look here, you have a wave of smaller momentum, of bullish momentum, and you had your bearish cross right in here. So if you look, we get out of our MACD, you can see here, if you go from the top of this momentum wave, which is right here, so you go from here, sorry, my mouse is kind of falling behind. You see this right here? If you go up from the beginning of this, we were sitting at roughly 11,750. We went all the way down to about 11,000. And then you can reverse your price action by when you come over here. What else do you see? You have your next play. You have your big wave and bullish momentum. You have a smaller one. You have a smaller one. You have triple MACD bullish divergence. Bullish divergence. And what confirms this? What's going to confirm that this plays out? You have your cross right in there. So once you learn this, guys, it is super easy. But it is literally one of the most useful indicators you can possibly learn. I even see a massive one just staring at me right now. You have your high and bullish momentum. You have a lower high and another lower high. But what confirms that this is going to play out? What do you see here? you have your bearish cross to the downside. So, this is pretty much the tutorial. I mean, you can just see how massive this move was, but it's pretty much all the same. I mean, you can tell, like, even reverse, when you don't have, you can even find continuation patterns. So, like right here, you have your high. You have a small little dip, because you can see, if you look here, do you see how you have this little wave? It's ever so small, and you have your bearish cross. But you can use this for finding continuation patterns like this. You have your smaller wave, and then you have a much bigger wave. Something similar to this. You have your left shoulder, and then it grows bigger. But it's just awesome to help you dictate or find when you're going to reverse your price action. Like you can see here, you have your bigger wave. You have your much smaller wave. Do you see this? And then you can go over here, and after you pop to the upside, do you see your momentum is getting bigger and stronger on the bull side? If you go from the middle of this, you went from roughly $7,350 all the way to almost $9,000. So, that pretty much concludes the MACD tutorial. Sorry it took so long. I don't know why my computer switched like the file format, so it wasn't loading. But if you guys have any questions, just let me know. This is, it looks a little daunting at first, but I promise you, once you learn the MACD, it is just, it's extremely easy to spot. So you want to use your daily and your 4-hour to identify your environment. And once you've identified your environment, go down to your 1-hour MACD, and you can start finding, short-term movement. So, it's just, this is our 1-hour. You can see here how you have your wave, and inside that wave, you even made a smaller momentum wave. And if you look at our price action, you went from roughly 9,300. My gosh, even just on this alone, you went from 9,300 to 9,600. And then you can see when you were building your momentum, you actually continued up even higher because you made a higher wave right here. It's just super easy. Once you get a hold of it, it's really easy to catch on. So I gotta, getting ready for church now. We're actually about to walk out the door, but I wanted to make sure I had this video done. I'll be on Discord. I'll let you know how the night stream's gonna go tonight. But if you guys have any questions, you know, feel free to ask me, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. But this pretty much concludes. This is the MACD tutorial, and I will, I'll see you guys later tonight. Thank you.